Right. So Leo, let's get you up to date with everything. So basically, they announced the theme, and the theme is automation anxiety. And our idea that we came up with is that basically you are a police officer surveilling a city, and it's essentially how if you've ever played the game Where's Wally or Where's Waldo is I think the American name for it. It's a version of that. However, you also have the option of and potentially the necessity of later on using and managing drones, which will try and automatically find, quote unquote, the Wally or the Waldo for you. It's also got a bit of UI clutter. If you ever heard of or played Papers, Please. I took a bit of inspiration from that one. And yeah, I'll crack on with the idea. So basically, you so the level itself is set in a city. So if you ever played the old Pokemon games, like just imagine like one of the seats from that one, top down 2D pixel art, and the player has a camera. Essentially, this is the player's HUD or the player's viewport, and they've got this big city. Won't make it too big, obviously. That you can go around, and you are trying to find that person, or in our case, persons, basically. We just use WASD to move around the city. But here is your missing persons list, or not missing persons. For us, it's suspects. These are people. It's a wanted list of people that you want to find. Now, I've simplified it for the sakes of exploration, but basically, okay. So first of all, this is the player's HUD. So this is what the player's HUD will look like if we remove that. Oh, sorry, I'm not very used to paint. So this is what the player's HUD will look like, more or less. These when they first start the game. And just so you understand, so I've obviously gotten all these people here, which all they are is just stick people with colours just to represent their distinct identities. But in our case, they will actually have visual, like visual indicators or visual distinctions. So these will all be pixel art people. They won't be very complex, obviously given time constraints, but they will have distinctions. So say, I think what we're going to go for is something like two or three, probably three visual visual distinct like factors for each character. So it'll be clothing, items of clothing they're wearing, so like t-shirt, jeans, or something like that. Their skin color slash ethnicity, so white, brown, black, whatever, and something like maybe on their face, like a hat or sunglasses or something like that. Obviously, with hair color, I guess as well. And what it will be is that we can't obviously make like a million different NPCs, and also it'd probably be quite interesting because I think what we're trying to do with this game is the theme's automation anxiety. We're basically taking a part of the UI management, UI clutter, anxiety inducing kind of like UI clutter, UI management from Papers, Please, and also potentially Where's Wally with like time limits. And we're trying to basically talk about the dangers of like facial recognition technology and policing, and kind of like false arrests by them misidentifying people, and uh, like profiling, like racial profiling, all that kind of stuff, and how technology, especially like drones, or not necessarily drones, but facial recognition technology, how it's very, pardon my French, fucking dangerous. Um, so with these people, like going off that, what we're probably going to do is we're going to make them where they are visually distinct, but it's not necessarily impossible to mix them up, or it's actually quite easy to sometimes mix them up. So say, obviously in the case of say John, Becky, and Sarah, Excuse me. Um, John say like white guy, black t-shirt, no sunglasses, no glasses. Becky is a black girl, orange dress, and she's wearing like normal sunglasses. Sorry, normal glasses, clear glasses. Sarah is a brown girl with a blue jacket and black sunglasses or green sunglasses. Something. So those three, obviously, you're not really going to mix them up. Again, it's pixel art, so it's still going to be very basic. But say Paul, like, so John is a white guy with black t-shirt and no sunglasses. Maybe we can like say blonde hair or something. Paul is a white guy with black t-shirt, no sunglasses, but say he's got brown hair or ginger hair or something. Where for some of these guys, it might only be one specific feature that's different to them, or maybe two features that kind of look similar. Say they're just slightly different. Say like even slightly different shades of Nate. Obviously, it's got to be distinct. You do need to be able to tell them apart. It can't just be, oh, that one's like a few pigments shades brighter grey t-shirt versus like a few pigment shades darker t-shirt or whatever of the exact same colour. It would be something like, hey, they look identical except one of them's got green sunglasses and the other one's got black sunglasses, or something like that. Anyway, sorry, that's a bit of a tangent, but just that's kind of what we're going for the character designs, which is important for the game because, as I said earlier, it's Where's Wally? So you have here, basically, you can either go around and you're trying to find these people on your wanted list. Each round you'll have 1 minute. We'll do 5 rounds, 1 minute each, and you've got a quota up here. Say 3 people you need to get in the end before the end of the round, and you're looking for, say, like in this case, John. You found John, the white guy with the black t-shirt, and blonde hair, no sunglasses. So you click on him. Either what you can do is you can click on him, and it opens up 2 buttons. Sorry, I'm not great with paint, as I said. 2 buttons that follow him around, basically, because all these people are walking. That's the main thing. They're not static, Even once you've clicked on him, those buttons will stay with him. Essentially, we'll just add it to his game object or something, make them child game objects. And yeah, so you can click on this one. Green one will arrest him. You found him. It'll take him off the list. You'll get a well done, nicely done, or cancel, which is no, that's not. I thought that was John. Say if you've gone up here, as we said with George, well, we could just do that actually. I thought that was John, but it's actually George. I'm like, oh, crap, that's the wrong guy. Cancel. I don't want to incorrectly arrest the guy. So that's the one way that you can do it. And as we said, round 1, you've got 3 people you need to arrest. And say you've got a wanted list of 6 people. Basically, the round won't end when you arrest 3 people. It will end once the 60 seconds passes, or when you've arrested all the people on the wanted list. You will get these pop-ups as well. When you get a correct arrest, you'll get, say, well done, nicely done, plus £10, and then your bank balance increases by £10. That will then disappear, this well done thing. That's gone after about 2-3 seconds or whatever. You get a wrong arrest, it's kind of like in Papers, Please. You get this red ticket kind of thing, this red warning notification. Every wrong arrest you'll get one of these. These things are permanent. They get cleared at the end of the round. All of the warning notifications will get cleared at the end of each 1 minute round, because otherwise, it could be impossible to do anything in the later games. But every time you get an incorrect arrest, you get a wrong arrest, and you lose £10. With each correct arrest you get, obviously, plus £10. Each incorrect arrest, you get minus £10. With that, basically, at the end of the round finishes, when you've either 60 seconds have passed or you've got all of the people on the list. If you finish a round and you have not completed your quota, you haven't seen round 1 is 3, round 2 it's 5, whatever, so on and so forth. If you finish the 60-second round and you haven't completed your quota, or you're in a negative bank balance, it's end of. You're arrested for being a delinquent or whatever, something, for sabotaging state, resources or whatever the hell, wasting state resources, they arrest you. Gosh, I haven't even got to the drone part yet. So basically, that's that. Did I also mention all UI is movable? I can't remember if I did. Everything again is a game that is. It starts off like you're doing like the Where's Wally kind of thing, where you're searching, trying to find the guy, and then it evolves later on to something else. That's when we start to get into the automation anxiety explorations of that theme in the game. So all the UI is movable. And these guys are permanent for the round, so you can end up with I might zoom in a little bit. Yeah, you can end up with God, I don't know, 10 of these. If you really tried, you could fill your screen with it. Right, drones, the important part. So these drones, you can buy a drone. They cost, say, we'll make them cost 10 quid or something. In the early rounds, we want the player to have that whole kind of manual searching gameplay loop where they are going through the level and they are trying to find John, Becky, Sarah, whoever. As we get towards the later rounds, obviously each round we're increasing the quota they need and we're increasing the total count of the wanted list. It will become almost impossible for them to do that manual searching themselves. They have to. Obviously, they can try if they really want to. They can try not to do it, but in 90-95% of the cases, we want players to start buying drones, and these drones are permanent. They don't go at the end of the round. You cannot minimize anything. No UI element is minimizable. The only UI element that isn't permanent is the well done ticket, because we're trying to create a game where UI clutter and UI management is important. Obviously, we're trying to bring in that stress, that automation, and quote anxiety end quote, and we don't want to punish them by having this being permanent. So drones. What drones do is they are semi-reliable ways of trying to identify targets. They work maybe 60-65% of the time, 70% of the time. However, we can do maybe an hour of testing beforehand or something if we probably won't have the time, but we can pray. Where these guys, what they do is they try and find someone. So as you can see, here's a little bit of an example. So it thinks it's found John. Is this John ? We can know if we by looking at it here, we say that's not John, that's George. John's got a red head, not green head. 60% of the time it will correctly identify John. What it will do then is this little bar down here. Just get this bar here. It starts here and it goes down. These drones, you can have as many as you can afford, will be going constantly in the background. It will be every 10 seconds it thinks it's found someone or something. Maybe we can randomize it, I don't know. It will ping, you'll hear a little audio like bing or whatever, and it will say, I think I found John. Here's the photo of the guy I found. We know that's George. It's not correct. It will, as soon as it's found the person, this bar will deplete. As soon as it reaches 0, it will automatically arrest the person it's found, whether it's correct or incorrect. And we here we know that's going to get us a wrong arrest because that is not John, that is George. If it is correct, obviously, brilliant. If it's incorrect, don't want that. I'm going to lose money. I could potentially go bankrupt and then lose. Just like up here, when I showed earlier with the 2 buttons, the green and red buttons, is the exact same thing. You can approve the arrest. Yes, that is John. Obviously, it's not, but say in this case, that is John. Thank you very much. I'll take that. Immediately arrest him. Removes him from your list, and you get the well done money. Alternatively, if it's not John and it's George, you can cancel it. And you have to click the cancel before that bar, the timer bar, depletes, because otherwise it will still automatically arrest that person. That is basically how the drones work. Now the thing with drones is we want obviously we know they're semi-reliable. Players will, figure out they're semi-reliable because hopefully, well, we'll have to obviously make sure that they understand that this. We could maybe have some like text when they first buy one, which explains. Well, look, we can figure that out in the long run. But basically, yeah, these drones, they can have as many as they want, and every single one of them is going to take up space on the screen. It's a game about UI management. Players are going to have to learn where is best for them to put their drones on their screen, where they can potentially in the earlier rounds, they've got their drones running on in the background. Meanwhile, they themselves are looking around saying, these guys they haven't found John George or whoever yet. They're just running searching for someone. Yeah, okay, I found. I'm manually searching whilst my drones are doing that. I found that person, and it's still manageable potentially for them to, say that's not George, that's not George. These drones probably won't be searching for the same person at the same time. It'll be say like this one that thinks it's found Sarah up here, and this one thinks it's found John. But yeah, so like from round one, the players more or less maybe will potentially give them like say like drones cost £10 if they start the game with like say £20. So if they wanted to in round one, they could buy 2 drones, which is probably a good idea for them. But as that wanted list and that quota increases, we're not trying to. We're trying to create a satire. These guys. It's that whole kind of thing. You do your job better. What you get rewarded with, more work. They need to catch more people. They're gonna need more drones. Then their screen stops looking so much like this, where it's easily manageable for them to move around the city and be searching for people manually whilst the drones are going off. It starts becoming something where like, their screen starts looking something like this. And it's a thing of, these drones are going off every 10 seconds. They have a new one going off, or 5 seconds, whatever. And it's not all going to be synchronized. This one goes off, then this one goes off, then this one goes off. And they've got to cross-reference. When you get to a certain round 3, potentially, it's more than 6, or however many we can fit in one single, like, thing here. We can make it scrollable. So there's, like, actually there's, like, this many NPCs and they can scroll and scroll. So it's not like it's not all visually available for them. They still need to like scroll to actually see the full list. They're gonna have to cross-reference all these people. Say this one it's not it's John. Say this one thinks it's found Becky. This one it thinks it's found Sam, but it's actually found George, whoever. It's the drones are semi-reliable. The player themselves. This is the anxiety part of the automation anxiety theme. Is they're like, oh my gosh, what have I done? I've got too many drones. Obviously they can't get rid of the drones, can they? They need to keep working with them for the rest of the game, and it's going to be bang. Is that the right person? Is that the right person? No, I don't know. All the while, this starts happening. Oops. This is the UI clutter. This is all these different arrest notifications are coming in, to the point where their screen just starts looking completely different to how it did at the start of the game. And that Where's Wally, that manual searching gameplay loop, basically becomes almost untenable. They've become reliant on this drone, this surveillance, this automated surveillance technology. They can't do that anymore because their screen is just full of all these drones that they bought, all this UI clutter that they're going to have to manage. It might be a thing of where they've literally got to move this up here, and then they can't even see the timer. They don't know how much time they've got left because they've got 3 drones up there, and they've got all these arrest things, these arrest notifications, which is just blocking. It can block the will have these notifications come up at random positions around the screen potentially. So it's even blocked a button. I can't click on that button because that thing's there. I can drag it away and then I can get access to the button. These notifications are movable. Obviously, we need every single thing to be movable, because otherwise, it would just be unfair. You can't just block a drone button or block a bit of information. We want them to be able to manage the UI. That's the whole gameplay loop. Well, the emergent gameplay loop, from the Where's Wally, from the it's an evolution from Where's Wally style gameplay to drone management, managing a team of automatons, essentially drones. You having made yourself reliant on them, and then them that just your job completely changing. I feel like we all kind of find that sometimes, say if we use AI for something, it becomes, say if you're using AI to write your code, you no longer, you're not thinking about the same, you're not approaching coding the same way, are you? You're like, you spend your whole time looking at the AI's code, and it completely changes the way that you do things. And in this case, it's specifically about this policing system. So you yourself are no longer actually going out and trying to identify these people. Instead, you are managing this team of AI who is just all over the place. It's tense, it's anxiety inducing, hence the theme. And it's kind of scary because, as you know, as these things start popping up, kind of maybe the thoughts in your back of your head is like, what have I done? All these people have been arrested who are, undeservedly arrested. It's kind of scary stuff, I mean, it definitely makes me anxious seeing the facial recognition technology being used all over the world. But it's stuff like that. It's when we're trying to make a game that is as much about how where the gameplay loop itself is about kind of how you yourself become reliant on tech, and it become, or specifically here, AI/drones or whatever, facial recognition technology that then changes the way that you do things, that you do your work. It's a work simulator at the end of the day, isn't it? But then you almost become over reliant, and that ends up hurting you quite a lot, and especially hurting the society, or the society you're policing, quite a lot as well. This isn't we're going to make it fun, obviously, but the themes are automation anxiety. We've got to have that level of anxiety, whether it be both through gameplay and also the theme as well. Obviously, again, to just to emphasize, if you do well, these things are permanent. Not permanent. Those things are temporary. The well done ones. But yeah, that is the idea of the game. All UI is movable is the main thing via dragging, everything like that, and still kind of trying to come up with an ending for it. Potentially, you get arrested yourself, which I think obviously could be a nice cherry on top with that kind of like theme/exploration of the dangers of automation facial recognition technology in policing. You spent this whole time misidentifying other people. You yourself then later get misidentified. But yeah, that is the main gameplay loop. That's the main idea, the concept. Any questions you got at all, just ask me, please. Available whenever you need. I'm working tomorrow, but yeah, hopefully we can get this done in time. But yeah, see you then.